Hello, and welcome to the Good Ball Monthly podcast. In this brand new podcast, we'll be taking a look and talking about some of the main talking points from football over the last month. In this first edition, we talk English club rivalries as well as football's regulation. First up, we're going to be talking a bit about club rivalries in England and specifically England's two current heavyweights. Now, of course, this is Manchester City and Liverpool. They recently put on an enthralling 2-2 draw when they met at the Etihad Stadium earlier in April. This game went back and forth more than the final of Wimbledon, you could say. And with these two clubs in a league of their own at the top of the English game, and there's very little between them, it's raised the question amongst pundits in the last month of, once again, is this the greatest rivalry that the Premier League's seen? Now, the premise of a rivalry, I guess, all depends on what you consider a good rivalry to be. On the pitch, I do think we're seeing the two best teams in Premier League history. Purely in a footballing sense and not taking trophies into account even, I'm not sure that's a ridiculous statement to make. So in that sense, it probably is the best rivalry in terms of footballing competition and being based on success. But for me, a rivalry needs to be a bit more. It needs to have a bit more to it than just footballing ability. I have absolutely no quarrels with players showing mutual respect and the managers, but football's moved on these days and it's a lot more sophisticated. Obviously, players are role models like never before. We've seen that with Marcus Rashford. But this, for me, is exactly why I just can't categorise it as the greatest rivalry to ever be seen in the Premier League. And I might be old-fashioned for that, but of course, in the noughties, you had Man United and Arsenal, who used to kick seven bells out of each other. And you could always guarantee that the likes of Roy Keane and Patrick Vieira would add a bit of extra intensity to the match. There's still obviously the rivalry between Liverpool and Man United. Man United's success has fallen off in recent years, but whenever they play, the hatred's still there. And that, for me, epitomises what a good rivalry is. You look at other teams that purely hate each other: Sunderland, Newcastle, and Leeds and Man United. The list is endless. So for me, City and Liverpool, two world class sides, always serve up great games when they play. But the greatest rivalry, not for me. But who knows? You might be different, and I'd love to hear your views. So yeah, if I'm in the minority or if I'm in the majority, let me know what you think. Another interesting thing that we've seen over the last month of football is the idea that the government is looking to bring in an independent regulator for football club finances, ownership, after a report into the game. Now, this comes after the government has said that the game basically can't be trusted to regulate itself anymore. This new regulator is going to be able to impose financial sanctions for rule breaking. There's going to be more stringent tests for new owners and more fan involvement. Now, obviously, on paper, this seems like a great idea, but it is all just words at the moment. In recent years, we've seen far too many clubs go a similar way: Bury, Blackpool, Oldham, and so on. And so I guess on paper it's a really good idea, but we are yet to see it come into force. So we'll have to give it a bit of time before we judge it. But what is for sure is we can't see more clubs go down the drain like we have done in recent years. You can follow us on Twitter at GoodballUK, and please do get in touch on there and let us know what you think of the couple of topics that we've talked about today. I'd be really interested to hear what you think.